Hey guys, if you're a high school athlete or a college athlete, or even the parent of a high school or college athlete, and your goal is to put on some size, get bigger, get stronger, and get faster, then watch this video and stay tuned to the very end because I'm going to give you something completely free that will help you do just that in as little as 60 days. Hey guys, Aaron Garza, founder here at Pureline Nutrition Company. Hope you guys are doing extremely well. Listen, this video is really cool and it's actually part of a 3-part series that we're doing on helping high school athletes, guys who are in the range of 16, 18 years old, going into college, helping them get bigger, faster, and stronger for their particular sport. And the reason that this video actually came up was because, number one, we get a lot of people that come into our retail stores here in Texas that are buying stuff for them, are trying to lose weight and burn fat and do all that stuff. But at the same time, always say, hey, you know what? My son has a hard time gaining weight. He's in high school athletics, he's in football, he's in baseball, and he just can't seem to put on any size, and he eats like crazy. And the second reason is because a friend of mine personally DM'd me about 3 to 4 weeks ago and said, hey, Aaron, you know what? My son got a full ride to a Division I college here in Texas because of his baseball skills. He's going to be a baseball player in college. And, he's been trying different things to put on weight, to put on muscle, to put on size. Some of the things are probably not something he should be taking. We want him to do it in a safe and natural way. What can he do? What is it that will help him put on lean muscle tissue? And is it even possible for him to gain, 15 to 20 pounds in 3 or 4 months? Is that something he can do? And when he wrote me that, I realized, I was like, man, there's a lot of parents out there, probably my age in their 40s and 50s, who have kids that are either in high school, fixing to graduate, or are going to college, and they are going to play athletics. Maybe they're in high school, they just started their athletic career, and they want to optimize their physical preparation. They want to be stronger. They want their kids to be stronger and faster and bigger. Number one, so they can excel, and number two, so they don't get hurt. And how do they do that? What is it that they can do? So these videos are going to be broken up into 3 parts. This first part today I'm going to talk about is basically everything having to do with nutrition or optimized nutrition for your student athlete or the athlete that is getting, going to college and needs to put on some size and strength. The second video is going to go into the training that they need to be doing. And the third video is going to be going into specialized supplementation that will help them achieve the goal that they're trying to achieve at a much faster rate. So first, let's start with nutrition, okay? And I want to go in this because I have some personal experience with it. I have nephews and I have, a couple of friends who have kids that are in high school and they do play, they play high school football and other athletics events. And I see how they eat, and it's just amazing. Number one, the speed of their metabolism. My nephew was at my house the other day and literally, we had dinner at 8 o'clock. At 9:30, he was eating cereal. At 10:30, he had a bowl of ice cream. And I'm just looking at him like, holy cow, and he's just like eating and I can't eat that much, and I'm a 220 pound guy. So it amazes me, the ability of the young metabolism to really metabolize food and to use it as energy, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it optimizes the ability for them to grow and put on muscle and get strong. But at the same time, it's a bad thing because if they don't eat enough, then they're not going to put on the size and the strength and the power and the speed and everything that they need to compete at a really high level in athletics. So it brings us to the question, is it feasible for a high school athlete or an athlete going into college, let's just call them a young athlete, is it feasible for them to gain 15 to 20 pounds in 3 to 4 months? And the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, they can probably put on a lot more weight depending on how strict they are about following the protocol that I'm going to give you. It's a time in the young adult's life, especially males, where hormones are really at an optimized level. Essentially anything that they do, they're going to see a result from, whether it's training more intensely, eating correctly, sleeping and recovering better. All of those things are in an optimized place from this 16 to 20 window that's there for them. So what is it exactly that they need to be doing? Well, first of all, I find that most kids, when I talk to them, kids, I mean young adults, a lot of them aren't eating near enough food. In fact, you know, the typical day is, hey, you know what, I had an apple or a banana in the morning, I was rushing to school, I had a quick lunch, and then, you know, maybe I had a snack like a granola bar during the, you know, 4 or 5 o'clock hour, and then maybe I had dinner when I got home, whatever mom cooked. Now, that's basically a diet, but it's not an optimized diet. If you have a young athlete, whether he's a high school student or a college student, and you want to optimize his ability to perform at a maximal level, then the complete diet has to change. And the easiest way to do that is to utilize 3 main meals and 2 optimization shakes a day. Now, I could say, you know what, he needs to be eating every 3 hours, he needs to be having certain calories at each meal, but honestly, that's just really too specific for a high school athlete. Essentially, what you want to be doing with your son is making sure that he's eating 3 good solid meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? And when I say a solid meal, it needs to have carbohydrates, it needs to have protein, it needs to have fats. For example, a solid meal in the morning would be something like, you know, 3 to 4 whole eggs with maybe some additional egg whites, wheat toast, an orange, some oatmeal. A nice, clean, well-rounded meal. And then again at lunchtime, instead of just a sandwich that he may just grab from home, you want to make sure that he's got something substantial, you know, chicken, lean meat, potatoes, rice, salad. Take a good, clean meal from home, and then again at night, something similar to the lunch meal. The only issue that leaves us is that there's 2 big gaps in the middle of the day that he's not being fed or he hasn't eaten, which is the gap from breakfast to lunch and the gap from lunch to dinner. So you need to make sure and fill in those gaps, what we call optimization shakes. Now, back in the old days, they used to have really high calorie weight gainers on the market. You'd get something that had, you know, a ton of calories, a ton of sugar, and a ton of carbs, and literally the minute you drank them, they would literally just go right through you. It was completely unhealthy, not good for you, and by the way, they tasted horrible. Today, science has offered us some newer technology and our ability to manufacture proteins and shakes and things like that. And we have tools that have allowed us to create optimized meal replacement shakes that are essentially the same thing as steak and a baked potato and a salad, all in a liquid meal that tastes delicious. That's what they need to be doing at least twice a day to fill in those gaps between breakfast and lunch and dinner. Simple way to do that is have them take their shake in powder form in a shaker bottle with them when they go to school in their backpack, and whenever they're ready, just add cold water, shake it up, and drink it between class. That's going to ensure now that they're not just getting the 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that they're getting 5 complete meals. The key to this all, guys, is eating. You've got to have calories. They've got to have calories in their daily diet if they're going to see changes in their body, if their body is going to respond. And the cool thing about this, just amazingly, is that their body is so receptive at this age to being able to take in that protein and take in those carbohydrates and utilize it to help repair and grow and get bigger and faster and stronger. So this is a key time to take advantage of in a young adult's life when they're in their 16 to 20, 22, 23 age range. Hormones are flying. Like I said, they've got so much ability to really utilize the nutrients that are being put into their body to grow and get bigger. So that's number 1. We want to make sure that they're getting 3 solid meals and 2 optimization shakes. If you need to know exactly which optimization shake would be best for your athlete, or if you're watching this and you're an athlete, click in the notes below. We have a link to Mesofactor, which is our optimization shake. It's high in protein, high in carbs, and very low in sugar. It's probably the best thing you can possibly use for getting in those meal replacements. Now, the next thing I want to go over is caloric density. Essentially, what kind of foods should your son be eating to get the most nutrients from the most amount of food? If you think about the typical diet of a young person, you're probably looking at anything like pizzas and sandwiches, you know, burgers and fries. And not that that's bad, but if we're looking to really optimize the performance of this kid, this young athlete, to get him in great shape and to get him faster and stronger, we need to make sure that the foods that he's eating are extremely calorically dense. When I'm talking about calorically dense, I mean foods that have a little bit of fat. For example, nuts, almonds, walnuts, fatty cuts of meat, filet, ground beef that has a little bit of fat in it. All those things have enough calories to support the growth and the recovery of a young athlete. So make sure that the foods that you are making for your young athlete, or if you are a young athlete, make sure that the foods you're eating are dense enough, whole milk, whole eggs, things like that. Remember, most young athletes tend to work at an extremely high metabolic rate, so they need more calories in order to level out and to grow. So that's extremely important. The next thing, you've got to get adequate amounts of carbohydrates and essential fats, but at the right times. Now, that's something that's really overlooked when it comes to actually enhancing the ability of a young athlete and enhancing their performance is nutrient timing. What time is the most important time for them to eat? First things first, when you wake up in the morning, you've been in a fasted state for about 8 hours, your body is deprived of nutrients, deprived of amino acids, your glycogen stores are completely depleted, so your body is going to need to be replenished immediately. This is the most important time for a young athlete to eat something. Obviously, they'd want to have a solid breakfast with a lot of protein, a lot of essential fats, and a lot of carbohydrates. When you don't eat something and you just go with a bar or a banana or something like that, you're leaving your body in a pretty depleted state. You're not giving it what it needs to continue to grow and to optimize energy throughout the day. So make sure that that first meal is the number one thing that you're focused on. It sounds really simplistic and basic, but it's extremely true. That's one of the most important things you can do. The next time that they need to really focus on is the hour immediately before the workout. If they are training in the afternoon, whether it's a practice or a weightlifting and conditioning session, they need to make sure that they're having something that's got a little carbs and a little bit of protein in it before that, at least an hour before, so they're not dipping into their muscle reserves and pulling out amino acids and using those for energy. They're using food that they put in to fuel that session. This would be a great time for that optimization shake that I talked about. You could use the mesofactor at that time, be absolutely perfect. Then the next time that they need to really focus on is post-workout. Post-workout, the body is completely ready to absorb all the calories and nutrients, all the food that you're gonna give it so it can recover, heal, grow, and get stronger and bigger and faster for the next session. So that post-workout time period could also be a perfect time for a meal replacement shake as well. Most people tend to just go with something pretty simple like a bar, a banana, or something like that, and they're not fueling their bodies to the optimum level. If your young adult or your young athlete is somebody who is looking to go on to play Division I athletics, he needs to focus on nutrition. The caliber of athlete at that level is always looking for an advantage and an edge, and these are simple things, simple tools that will help them get the results they need. You've just got to follow them, make sure they're doing everything that they can to optimize their nutrition. Of course, with all this goes the basics. Drink plenty of water, sleep, rest, recover, and eat extremely well. I assure you, if they do nothing else but change their diet based on 3 solid meals and 2 shakes per day or 2 optimization shakes like our mesofactor, you will start to see changes in their body, they will start to see changes in their body, and the results will be forthcoming. So remember, we've got 2 more video segments coming up. One of them is going to be all about training for the young athlete, and the other one's going to be all about supplementing for the young athlete. Check those out. Be sure and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or anything, you can always call us or email us. Our number is 1-800-632-1402, and you can email us at info@thepureline.com. Be sure and scroll down, check out the rest of our videos. We've got a lot of good content and information for helping build muscle, burn fat, all the things that may interest you. Now, one other thing, at the beginning of this video, I said I was going to give you something for free. I'm putting all of this information about this high school optimization program at the bottom in a link. The first link we're going to have is about the diet that we just talked about. It's going to give you a little bit more clarity on exactly what you should be feeding your son, or if you're the athlete watching this, what you should be eating. So click on that. Hope that was some good information for you. Take care. Make sure and leave your comments below.